welcome back to Shonnie's World. Guys, so it's been a while, but I am here with another video for you. So this video will be a nursing related video, and so yeah, I'm just gonna jump right into it. So if you've seen my video, which somewhere we'll be posting the link here, when I moved to Texas, I moved here I moved to Texas for a NICU job. At the time I just finished my bachelor's. I really wanted to get back into the NICU. I wanted to do a higher acuity NICU. And that is why I was applying everywhere. And honestly, I didn't want to buy and stay in Ohio. I wanted to try and spread my wings and move somewhere warmer, and thus it landed me here in Texas. But I left the NICU, and it wasn't for no other reason other than I wasn't expecting to, I never planned for what would happen if I were to get pregnant and have another miscarriage. So I'm going to take my time talking about this. So first of all, we're not trying to have another child, and I think I posted on my Facebook, but just recently, not too long ago, and I didn't say much besides when I found out when I was pregnant. I posted something, but so I got pregnant in, oh gosh, I want to say it was like April. It was earlier this year I got pregnant. And everything was going good. I was still in my first trimester, and I ended up having a lot of bleeding, and I ended up miscarrying. I actually went for an ultrasound, and it was an elective ultrasound just to hear the heartbeat. As soon as I was 6 weeks, like I was so anxious, I went to schedule an elective ultrasound just to hear the heartbeat and confirm everything. And they couldn't find a heartbeat. And I was kind of questioning like if I was really 6 weeks or if I was a little bit or less than 6 weeks. So they told me to come back, no big deal, come back, and they'll do it again in like a week or so. So I'm like, okay, but yeah, not to drag this part out, but so yeah, anyhow, I ended up miscarrying. And so I took, couple shifts off, especially when it was happening, because when it happened, I was scheduled to work that weekend. So I did, take that weekend off. But then the week after I went back, and it was not good being around, babies and having went through what I went through. And then it was kind of like what happened almost 12 years ago when I lost our very first pregnancy, our son Emmanuel. So everything, I just feel like just rushed forward, and all of a sudden here I am struggling with my mental health and trying to continue to work in the area where maternity is a huge focus. Like it's the maternity world, as I would call it, and it was hard every single day to go. And even though, and I tried to remember, like, I kind of went through the steps. Like I tried to remember, like, okay, this is why you're doing this. This is why, you chose this area. You chose this area because of Emmanuel. You're honoring his memory. You want to help these babies. Blah blah blah. Like all of the things that I was telling myself in the moment that I was grieving our second miscarriage was not enough to carry me through. So I think I made the decision to leave the NICU because one day it was just bad. I literally, not the NICU itself, but like me, like I cried one shift, like the first part, like I don't know, I got a new admit. It was your baby just born, and something about that, and I ended up having to step out, and I don't know, it was bad. It was it was a rough emotional time. And at that time, my husband was like, you probably should start looking for something else, a different area, because, who knows how long this is going to last as far as like how I feel mentally and everything. So, and I agreed. I'm like, I shouldn't feel this way coming to work. So that's why I started looking elsewhere. So it was really hard to choose where to go next because I'm new to Texas. Like, I wasn't in my familiar stomping grounds of Ohio, and I wasn't, so I don't really know the health systems. I don't really know, like, home health is huge down here. I mean, it's pretty big everywhere probably, but down here I feel like it's bigger, but it's a lot of shift work. And the only thing about home health is that, especially when it's shift work, it's only you. It's not like you don't have anybody to help you turn or help you, change, hold somebody over while you change. You're doing all of this heavy lifting, yourself. And so that I didn't want to do something like that. I wouldn't mind doing visits like I used to do, but it was I didn't see that too much. And so I thought about like wound care, but again, I don't really know this area. And honestly, I wasn't too motivated to like go out there and try to find something like where it's, where, how the wound care system works, if there's like a standalone wound care center or whatever. Which I did find some, but then I was just like, I don't really have my wound care certification, blah, blah, blah. I don't know if I really want to go, down that route 100%. And so I did a lot of searching on Indeed. And then I came across a school district that was hiring. And so I talked with my husband about it. I feel like I talked to him about everything. But I talked to him about it, and he was like, well, he was like, it'll be a good idea, and you can be on the same schedule as the kids. You'll be home every night. Like, you'll be off on the weekends. We can do stuff on the weekends. And, you would have the same breaks as the kids. And so it'll be easier to do family things. So for him, the positive was the schedule, right? For me, I like the schedule, even though I can't say that anymore, but I wasn't a day person. Okay, I worked night shift for a very long time. The short stint that I did in the on day shift was, I was itching to go back to nights. Like, I don't like waking up early. I don't to this day, but I do because I like what I do. Yeah, I was looking at the job description. I was kind of like, oh, this is a lot. Like, I'm not used to doing a lot of this stuff in the job description. So, and I feel like, it's a different type. It's still nursing, but it's just a different role that I haven't held before. And so a lot of collaboration, a lot of like different little things. So, so then I was like, I don't know. I started it on a Friday, the application, and then I started on a Friday, and then I worked that weekend. Sorry, my computer is like, and then on Monday, I don't know, I think it was Sunday or Monday, I decided to go ahead and, because my husband was like, did you fill out? I'm like, no, I didn't. I don't know if I want to continue to fill out the application. And so then I decided to go ahead and finish the application on Monday. So finished application, and that started that process. So, one of the reasons I did decide to do it was because of the schedule, and then also because, like I said, it was a different role to challenge and develop me professionally. And then also there's never a dull day. So I have elementary age kids, and they're never boring. And so, my favorite job when I was in college that I worked at a daycare, and I absolutely loved that job. The age group that I worked with mostly was 6 to 8. But they were fun to work with because their imagination, and they enjoyed like when you actually played their games with them or read to them, and I tend to be a good reader, so when I read children's books or whatever, so they kind of like it because I actually get into character and stuff. But so anyway, I enjoyed that job, so I was like, okay, I will I wouldn't mind being in this field. Plus, if I were ever to get pregnant again, like it won't hit me as hard as it did. Like going back to work, it won't hit me. I won't be constantly reminded of it every day I go in. I don't second guess my decision to leave the NICU. It was hard. It was a hard decision because I knew like if I ever got through what I went through, I would probably regret that I left. And because I wanted to be in a level 3 so bad, and I dropped my schedule down because I didn't want to make a decision in my emotional state and then later regret it. So yeah, but as of now, like I feel like we've moved since then. This is a new office. We've moved into a new house. The kids are in a new school. I'm at a new job. Things are a little bit different than what it was when we first moved here. And since being on this new schedule, waking up early and all that, I just feel like, I don't know, I feel like so much weight has been lifted. Like I'd still struggle with my depression, but like it's not as bad as it was. Like when I really want to, I can push past it now. Whereas before, it was tough. It was tough. So yes, I don't second guess my decision. I'm glad. I like my job now, and I enjoy what I do. So one of the things that is different from school nursing and hospital nursing is the hours. So one of the hardest things that it took time to adjust to was, which I'm still adjusting honestly, is working 8 hours versus 12. So, ideally you think, oh, you work 7 to 3-ish, school hours, whatever school hours, are for your area. You work those hours, you're like, oh yeah, afternoon or evening, early afternoon, late afternoon, whatever. You can go walking still, you can do things, blah, blah, blah. My kids actually get out of school after I get off work. And so by the time we make it home, like it's just kind of like, okay, eat. Okay, we might have a couple, maybe an hour, hour and a half, sometimes less than that before it's time to start their bedtime routine. And then after we do their bedtime routine, like, they're going to bed, and shortly after I'm going to bed because we got to wake up early. And one thing that helps me wake up early is going to bed early. So the 8-hour shifts, like it's great, but then time goes by so fast in the evening. And then another thing with 8 hours, you have to work 5 days a week. And the good thing about, school nursing, and you follow the schedule of the school. So like, the off days that they get, for holidays or whatever, I get those too. When they get out early, I don't get out early necessarily, but, you know, the kids leave early, so then there's that time where you're like doing professional development and stuff like that. So what else? I get off the breaks and all that jazz. So that's the plus side. But then again, like I said, the 8 hours, you work 5 days a week when there's none of that going on. And which, like I said, I like what I do, so I don't mind it. And my kids kind of know my schedule. They expect me to pick them up from school and bring them home. And, we kind of are getting into our like routine. But I'm not used to only having Saturday and Sunday off. Like, I feel like the weekend goes by so fast. So I'm like, how do 9 to 5 people Monday through Friday, how do they regularly get their weekend, Saturday and Sunday off, and be okay with just the 2 days? Because like, like my husband, he gets off at 5 o'clock on Fridays most times, but the Friday is kind of like black because you're exhausted, you've been working all day, so you're just kind of in chill mode, and then you only have Saturday to do what you want. Sunday, you get ready for the week again, so it's like, oh my God. Whereas 12-hour shifts, you might work, depending on how you do your schedule. Me personally, I would do 2 on and 2 off and then work 1 or something like that. And then there are times in the way you schedule yourself, you can have a chunk of time off. And so like, it gives you time to like have a zombie day and then the next day bounce back and do things like normal, like get up in the morning and do things. And that adjustment is hard. Adjusting to only a couple days off versus 3 or 4, days off. So it takes some getting used to, honestly. But I feel like even though my hours are ideal, my schedule is ideal, and every transition I've noticed that I've gone through so far, like whether it was moving down here or, switching jobs, starting a new job, whatever it was, like I feel like it takes a little bit out of me to the point where I pull back on everything that I do and to focus on that one thing until I get comfortable enough or until I figure out how does what I do for myself and my interests, how does it fit into my new schedule, my whatever I'm doing at the time. And so yeah. So it definitely it takes a toll on me a little bit until I figure out the balance. So and then also, one thing that I noticed too with this working in the school, being in Texas, one of my goals is to learn Spanish to the point where I'm like fluent in a sense, conversationally fluent, because I know there's a lot that goes into fluency, but conversationally fluent. So the good thing about it too is that there's a lot of I'm around people that speak the language a lot, but in the school system, like there's a lot of kids that are bilingual or they speak Spanish only and they don't speak English. And so it kind of forces me to use, especially if I don't have anybody to call on to like translate for me, it gets me to using what I do know to try to communicate and to try to like understand what they're telling me. But honestly, my comprehension and listening skills are like, is bad. But I'll get into my language journey on another video. But I just wanted to share that I did switch jobs from when I first moved down here almost, a little over a year ago. Well, it's been like, 2 years and, a year and 6 months, almost a year and a half ago. So I wanted to kind of tell like that story of what's been going on since I've been down here in Texas and why I'm not in the NICU anymore. And because I know I made a video, which will be up here somewhere, about working in the NICU. So yeah, so do I miss it? I do miss caring for the babies, but sometimes you just have to make a decision that's best for you. And because I made that decision that was best for me, in general, as a whole, I feel better. I feel better mentally, physically, emotionally. I feel like I've been able to process my grief a little bit more, and not be so concentrated on what I lost. Every now and again, I have my moments like anybody else, but it's not unbearable. It's not something that I'm struggling every single day with. And so for that, I thank God. So if you like this video, or if you are watching this video and kind of wondering about school nursing, and this video kind of helped a little bit, like between like the differences a little bit. I didn't really go into a lot of detail, but so yeah, but if you like this video, make sure you like it, subscribe, and I will catch y'all in the next video.